Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, good to be here.
Thanks for having
I
us.
love it. We're on video. Okay, so we are here to talk about something that I am excited about. It's so brand new. A lot of people are like, huh, what are you talking about? And that is Alexa voice search, flash briefings. We're going to get into all that, but and I've got some notes for me on my screen here. So, but I want to briefly just allow you guys to do your intro, your own version of the intro. Tell me about your quick background in real estate, and then we'll get into how you got into this voice flash briefing thing.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll do a quick just summary of all my experience. So I've been in real estate for about 15 years and done residential and commercial and done all kinds of really crazy marketing like billboards and bus benches in Los Angeles, looking for the elusive seller lead, doing a lot of cold calling and door knocking and all kinds of stuff like that, and have still a pretty well-known team in Silver Lake and Echo Park. And so Kayla and I met earlier last year and started working together later in the year, and she joined that team as one of the agents. So we were in downtown Los Angeles, and then we were there for a couple months and decided to switch over to Venice. So just basically go after a completely new market.
Starting from scratch.
Totally, yeah. Really see like if we could, like after building a team for 10 years, could we do it overnight in a completely different area that's super competitive like Venice?
It was a personal challenge of David and not mine to start in a new territory and be household names in real estate in 30 days.
Yeah.
So I know the area pretty well, having lived there for almost 30 years, that area, SoCal. Why Venice? Just want to live by the beach or what?
Yeah, Venice is great. It's the price point. Actually, when we were looking kind of like just as business people, the amount of work that you have to do in Echo Park and Silver Lake versus maybe in Venice, the price point of Venice homes
is like 3 times.
Yeah, it's 2 to 3 times easily.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we could do the same amount of work and we could be making 2 to 3 times more money. And Echo Park and Silver Lake are super cool. But after over a decade of selling in there, I was a little bored of it.
Yeah.
In Venice, I've always, because I grew up in LA, I love Venice. So we just thought, well, we can make more money, and Venice is super cool. It's a hill neighborhood. It'll be great. Yeah, we just like have this amazing idea of a lifestyle we could have.
Yeah, Venice is a much better vibe than Silver Lake.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Okay. And you guys were with Keller Williams, and you did pretty well, if I recall from our last conversation.
Yeah, so we were one of the top agent teams. And so we just basically, and a lot of people thought we were insane, but we just jumped ship. We were at KW downtown LA, and then we went to KW Silicon Beach, which is that brokerage. Venice is within their kind of geographical territory, but they don't have a team that has ever been able to crack the code on how to sell a lot of Venice real estate. There's some smaller boutique brokerages that are dominant over there. So we came in and we fashioned ourselves as the Venice real estate team for that office kind of overnight. And that's what we started branding ourselves. And we started just like hitting the pavement really hard and getting our name out there.
So like you said, you did all the traditional things, the advertising, billboards, door knocking, all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. So when we left downtown LA, we had about 10 mentees. It was agents that we were training. Based off of KW's Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. There's a thing called a 10-4. So you're supposed to do a certain amount of calls, door knocking, previews, notes. So we took all that stuff and we just injected it with steroids. And so Kayla and I just like pedaled to the metal. We were doing a ton of cold calling. We were doing really like an insane amount of door knocking. We were door knocking 2 to 3 hours a day in Venice. And just like really cutting other agents off at the pass who were already having listing conversations and getting involved. And we just went really, really fast. So because we had coached so many people in the downtown LA office, it was really like Kayla was saying, a personal challenge. Like, okay, do we really know what the hell we're talking about when we're coaching people? And do we have, the balls to make it happen? So we just jumped right into it. But we had to accelerate really fast. We couldn't just do like the basic thing to maintain a business. We had to carve out the business from scratch.
We would meet up at 6 a.m. and put the same note on 500 homes in a geographical area of Venice before people even woke up, and then
handwritten notes. Yeah.
And then be at the office at 8.
Just crazy grind. Yeah, exactly.
So did it work?
It worked.
It was starting to work. Yeah, we got a couple listings. A couple listings right out of the gate. A home in the Silver Triangle, which we're really proud of. We were obsessed with that house. And then we got a little house lease, a small lease. It's like $5K a month in President's Row. So these are all like really desirable areas in Venice. If you're local, you know these areas, but they're all by the beach and really awesome.
Wow. Okay, so take me then. How do you take that real estate, career, 10 plus years as a real estate agent? Tell me about the migration towards, this new venture of yours, Home People, and harnessing the future of search, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like probably around early May that I came in with let me make sure
Your
Alexa
timeline is correct?
Yeah, no. I just want to unplug Alexa, otherwise she's going to start talking.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That's actually the most annoying thing about it.
Right.
So what ended up happening, I think it was in early May, I started to get really obsessed with, I think I was listening to a lot of Vaynerchuk and like rereading a lot of books, because I'm like, I have to make sure as like the team lead that our new venture in Venice is successful. So I was listening to like a shitload of podcasts and reading books and just like, really, this is the real deal. And I felt responsible for like Kayla and our other partner on the team. Like, I have to make sure that we're successful. And through that, I started like thinking more about voice and different things like that. And so I came in with, and I think it was the Echo Dot. And I was like, oh guys, we got to do like skills. We got to do like a podcast. And they kind of like rolling their eyes.
We rolled our eyes just a little bit.
Yeah. Like, oh great. Another thing we can do in addition to all this hardcore, aggressive brick and mortar, old school brokerage stuff like door knocking, cold calling. Oh, like now we're going to do a podcast and like all this stuff. Yeah. And so that's kind of where the conversation was, right?
Yeah.
You can take it from there.
Yeah. So that was happening on one hand. On the other hand, David and I are out door knocking twice a day, and we are trying to come up with ways to be, for lack of better terms, more visible to homeowners, and considering wrapping cars and parking them on the street, kind of camping out in front of prospect homes,
living in their home, catching them at night, like a horror film, like just waiting for them in the shadow.
Because if we could just have the opportunity to speak with you, we think you'd be impressed. So we took that kind of passion and we melded it with this passion that David had for the voice technology and where we think everything is going in terms of searching, and started to brainstorm different ideas for Alexa skills and how can we take that in our own territory where we really are kicking ass, but be even more influential in homeowners' decision-making process. When started that conversation about realtors.
Yeah, so there was a couple bridges that happened. We started doing the Alexa skill as a weekly podcast. So we started doing that and pushing that out and not getting very much traction. Then we played around with actually doing a full-blown podcast and did a couple episodes. That got, depending on the topic, it got some traction. So while that was happening, and then the other thing that happened, we got 7 people to listen to one of them. So that was impressive. I was impressed. And then the other thing that happened while all of this was happening at the same time was we started to think like, because we were generating so many leads, like real seller leads from all this door knocking. We thought, what if we were to sell these leads to other agents? Because nobody has figured out how to find seller leads. It's either through referral or like a relationship, but we were finding them. We were finding a lot of them. And so we're like, how do we monetize this? Because we've tried everything. We've done Zillow ads. We've did even Instagram and Facebook ads. Again, we did like the big bus benches and billboards and stuff, and really nothing proved successful. Maybe you got a lot of buyer leads, and usually those were kind of all bullshit. It's like, we felt like, okay, we do have this, these seller leads that everybody would want. What would it look like if maybe we partnered or referred out or just straight up sold them as leads? So
we did a couple pretty crazy things. We had so much fun doing this. This was the very, very beginning of where Homey Points started. We took all of our seller leads that we got from door knocking and cold calling, and we assigned a value to them that was basically a percentage of what we think a commission of what their list price would be. So we ended up selling those leads on a website that we made to different realtors. And then they bought it. It was like a digital download, and it provided you with all of the homeowner information, all of our notes from our conversation. The name of their dog, like the kind of coffee they like to drink. Just weird little things so you knew, one, we weren't bullshitting, but two, if you called this person, like you would know what was going on instantaneously.
So I'm naturally curious, right? The obvious question is, why didn't you just list them yourself? you wanted to get out of it at that time?
Well,
with that decision.
yeah, the thing is we just feel like the industry is changing, is rapidly changing. Like with Keller Williams announcing in February that they're a tech company, Compass just like on a rampage of buying company. Like as we were talking about this, what my feeling is that the entire realtor experience is going to be shifting very hard on realtors within the next year. So
in what way? How do you foresee?
I don't know. It's like kind of like when the market was going to tank in 2008. I got the feeling like, okay, something is going to shift really hard. And I owned property at the time, so I was like, well, I think I should sell stuff. I didn't know to what severity, how. I was a kid. So right now, I don't think we really understand how it's going to shift. No. But we definitely think we're on the ground floor of voice. Like, it's definitely brand new. It feels like a little bit of a gold rush. It's a new technology. And even though Alexa has been out since 2014, I think the real estate market is going to shift hard for realtors in the next year. And I think voice is going to hit critical mass at the exact same time. And it's interesting that like Keller Williams has Kelly, and they're all kind of jockeying for this position as a real estate tech company.
Kelly is basically like a Siri or an Alexa for Keller Williams agents only. It's an app where you can ask Kelly about your schedule for the day. I think it does a couple of things.
Yeah, it's kind of rudimentary, but they're kind of dabbling with. Yeah. So I think that they're totally missing the boat. I think the gorilla in the room is Amazon. Mm-hmm. That they have this huge platform. So I just feel like everybody, especially in the real estate world, they're focusing on Compass and Keller Williams and all this like infighting and who's going to be, there seems to be like there was a catalyst that was, I think Keller Williams announcing they were a tech company in February was the catalyst for everybody just going for the jugular and who is going to be the real estate tech company that dominates. Zillow's doing crazy maneuvers. It's all like everything is happening right now, and everybody's been saying for a long time real estate is going to change. It's going to change. It's going to change. I've been saying that for as long as I've been in it. But now I really feel like it's going to change pretty heavily. And coincidentally, voice is rolling in very hard at the exact same time. Amazon's crazy push with it. So, and I think they're going to connect. So we want to be part of that.
Yeah.
So that's probably a good pivoting point to get into this whole conversation of voice. And I'm trying to read the statistic here of what it is. For those that know Gary Vaynerchuk, he's the one that I remember saying it out there, but that he believes the next phase of search is voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere there's a stat in here talking about voice becoming 50% of search, very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah. If you think about it, speaking is the first form of communication we learn. So it makes the most sense and it's the easiest. Mm-hmm. If there's an opportunity for me to speak instead of type,
I'm a lot easier.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because with phone calls, like to get a phone call that you don't want and then to receive a voicemail now, we were joking about this before, Kayla. We're like, it's kind of obnoxious to leave somebody a voicemail now because you have to like go in, you listen. I'm like horrible. I don't listen to voicemails anymore. It's like, you're leaving me homework because you're mad at me. Like, I'm just going to delete it. Texting really undermined phone calls and voicemails in a big way, right? It's definitely voicemail. Mm-hmm. So text undermines voicemail. Out of nowhere, voice the way we know it, which is kind of like a callback to old time radio.
Walkie-talkies.
Yeah, walkie-talkies, sitting around the radio, like seeing my kids interact with Alexas. Like, I imagine people listening to like the Lone Ranger, around the radio before there was TV. Right. So it's weirdly voice is coming back in a huge way and undermining using your fingers because using your fingers is inefficient. It's slower than just using your voice. So it's like an interesting shift kind of back to what is faster, and voice is significantly faster.
And voice is going to become prevalent in our lives, much like, the Alexa Dot and all that kind of stuff. Echo has already done that. We know voice is being installed in cars.
Right. Microwaves.
So what do you mean microwaves? I mean, what? Hey, reheat these eggs? What the hell am I going to say to a microwave?
I think Amazon has, I don't know what that team initially thought. I think they've been screwing around with voice for a while. And I think they maybe accidentally realized, or maybe it was strategic, that it seems to me now with how we're interacting with Alexa and like these virtual assistants that are going to be in all kinds of devices like your microwave or your doorknob or in a paper clip, like the where this voice thing can go is pretty insane. but it's going to undermine phones. Like phones will become irrelevant because using Siri's horrible compared to Alexa, right?
Yeah.
And having to lug around a phone is annoying as fuck.
Mhm.
So now all of a sudden, if there's all these Alexa-enabled devices all over your house, you can be brushing your teeth and talking to the sink, right? And go and walk over to your coffee maker and continue the conversation very fluidly. It's going to be like that.
Yeah.
It's for sure going to be like that. You'll never have to pick up your phone.
Hmm.
But what's interesting about Alexa is it is on iPhones and it is on Androids. So they're cross-platform. They're like totally cross-pollinating all devices.
Yeah, they are Skynet.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so let's talk about how we as marketers, right? Loan officers are mostly this audience, and of course they have realtors as referral partners. You guys have been in that game, you know it. What's the application for us looking to grow our business, to build our brand? How do we leverage something like voice?
So we think that voice, like David was saying, is going to be the way that homeowners, people that are looking to buy and sell, are going to first engage with the basic questions. You know, how do I refinance? How do I speak to a realtor? How do I get rid of this china cabinet that's been here for 50 years that I'm not going to move with? So we want to create platforms for all of those agents, realtors, and loan officers that when anyone asks those specific questions, it's immediately routed to them and they are able to start those conversations with buyers and sellers.
All right, so let me walk me through that for a bit, because since we last talked a week ago, whatever, that was the kind of the impetus for me to get on and create my own flash briefing, which I did.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the fence though about, I think I don't want to put the whole podcast on there because it's too long, because it's
Right.
5 minutes, so I'm going to move to just briefings.
Mhm.
But okay, so that's cool. I get the briefing thing from an awareness standpoint. For those listening, right, test this out. Hopefully we're firing off all your Alexas that you're listening to right now.
Oh, I know. Can you imagine? Hey, Alexa. Yeah.
Talk about power.
Yeah, right.
So for those of you, let's back it up for a second. What has to happen? Any special things that have to happen for somebody to have a flash briefing on their current Echo Dot device or anything else they might have in their home?
So there's a couple different things that Amazon does. There's flash briefing, which is basically your micro news. So it gives you a little bit of update for all your different interests. And then there's also skills, and skills are comparable to apps. So just like you would download an app from an app store, you would enable a skill on your Amazon account. And those skills can be anything from like a learning skill for your kids,
Can be games, it can be anything, yeah.
to a skill.
So there are these two branches. So you have the skill branch of what they're doing, and then you have the flash briefing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So the flash briefing is an easy way to kind of dabble into this concept of doing a short. It's interesting, like, because we were putting full podcasts on the flash briefing.
You probably can't see this because of the glare, but for those, yeah, glare is no good. So yeah, flash briefing. What I want to do is make sure that those listening, because there, correct me if I'm wrong. So some people have an Echo Dot in their house, right? That's one of the devices they can have, an Echo Dot.
Right.
Now, what they may not know is that they can actually do what you and I just talked about, which is enable flash briefings. But to do that, they have to download the Alexa app to their phone, correct?
Right. Or they can go through their Amazon.com account on their computer.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is probably the easier play. But if you're really trying to get into this ecosystem, you should get Alexa on your smartphone and then also mess around with it on your computer.
Okay, great. That's step one for just for those who are like, what? How do I get this? That's
right.
All right. And of course, then play around with it, right? There's interests, like you said, you're going to have certain interests. Maybe it's sports. Maybe it's the default one here. I got, Reuters News. Is it Reuters, Reuters? I never knew. Today's forecast.
Yeah.
But then there's things I can actually ask for as a flash briefing, which, just to carry this all the way out, which is now I'm standing in front of my Dot at my house and I can say, hey, Alexa, give me my flash briefing, right?
Yes.
And then it'll start playing my flash briefings in the order I've set.
Yeah, it'll cycle through like you're listening to a custom radio station, or like you're turning the channels on a TV. It'll just go through the different flash briefings, and you can skip them or go back, and it's interesting.
Now, you said something a moment ago I want to come back to, is that let's say, okay, I've got my podcast on there and somebody listens to my flash briefing. Somehow, how's that going to tie back to me other than brand awareness, which is valuable? But is there another way, right, to drive people into my funnel from that point?
I think the initial thing is just, I think like after playing with it, flash briefing is definitely just a bite-sized new like injection for like first thing in the morning. So we like found people are actually using flash briefing more than we thought. We were just dabbling with it, but you know, a friend of ours, he said that he's got custom ones where, so when he is brushing his teeth in the morning, he's like, Alexa, play my flash briefings. And what would be cool for like a mortgage broker is saying what the interest rates are for the week, or if they've done like a big refi, or like they see some kind of market thing, just doing it really fast, a little bite-sized, you know, audio.
Tips for buying, selling.
Yeah, it would be incredible. Yeah. So that's a really nice way to deliver that type of content, to understand, you know, they're probably, when they're listening to that, when they're listening to a flash briefing, they're probably not in the mood or like prepared to listen to like a 2-hour podcast. So just being aware of what you're actually delivering on and what the expectation of the listener is.
Which is why I'm getting that dang podcast off of there. But
you did it too, though.
Yeah, well, it's all experimentation, right? This is so early. But it's like one of the things I'm reading on the website here is this is what I think goes to your point, is its voice is about convenience and less friction.
Exactly.
I love that, because when you think about the standpoint of us as marketers, you as real estate agents, those listening, how do I stay top of mind with my target market? This is a very convenient, very frictionless way to do it.
Exactly. And I think just being aware that like when they're listening to the flash briefing, they're probably brushing their teeth. And when they're listening to a podcast, they're probably in their car, right? So there's different channels, and just being aware of that and really being like, okay, if I was in my pajamas brushing my teeth, what would I want to experience? What would be valuable for me and not annoying, and be most valuable and least friction? You know, that's what we started to understand as we started to experiment with all this stuff.
So our flash briefings were just really basic. This is how many properties have sold in the last week in Venice, in the last month, and the average price per square foot.
And maybe we're doing an open house.
Fun fact.
Yeah. And we would have a lot of fun with it, because I think, you know, showing your personality, instead of saying, you don't want it to be like Reuters, whatever the hell it's called, right? You don't want it to sound robotic. You do also want your personality to leak through. And so we started to do that more and more. Like we would laugh, we would have some bloopers.
We did our own wave and bird chirping sounds. So you knew we were at the beach.
You don't want to go overboard and be annoying, but you do want to also have your personality shine through.
I love it. Now, and let's not forget, during that flash briefing, you can have a call to action and drive people to a website.
Exactly. Yeah. And we started to do that towards the end too.
Yeah. And so it's like, hey, for more, go check out the whatever at, you know, www.xyz.com.
Exactly.
Or .net.
And we start to do contests, raffles and contests through that.
Tell me more about that. So yeah, any like ideas you guys want to start sharing that you did using this? Well,
we started to link our flash briefing with our open house schedule. And then we would say, hey, because we did a custom event with we did an open house with Tesla in Venice at that Silver Triangle home that we had. And so we said, as we were ramping up and just doing the market, like, hey, this is the average price. The average price right now in Venice is 2.3 million. There's 16 homes for sale. And Kayla and I would jump back and forth. And then we would say, okay, and then this Sunday, we're doing an event with Tesla. Come by, you know, you can test drive a car. You know, we started to link it with real life stuff that would be interesting for the people that potentially, the 7 people that were listening to our flash briefing.
Well, wait a minute. You only had 7 people listening, but they sold like 3 cars, right?
Yeah, they sold
like 5 cars.
They sold 5 cars. They literally sold a car to everyone that showed up, and we did not get a commission. We did not think it was going to work out that way.
That is awesome. All right, so I'm sure people's wheels are spinning about ideas and content. Let's keep it fun and lively. What would you say? What's the time frame you basically have for your briefing? The listening window.
30 seconds.
30 seconds to a minute, hopefully.
Yeah, I think you should not be going over. I think you should be concerned if you're going over 3 minutes.
Okay,
I think you got to keep. And I think also looking at your competitors, like if there's somebody else, the people you're listening to, what are they doing? That's really helpful. If you start to listen to other skills, that's why we started to do our own bird and wave sounds, like, you know, kind of doing our own beatboxing, which is really low quality. Other skills have like a cool like intro music, like kind of a little ding letting you know, ding, now for your mortgage update, right? There would be like a little like click. so you understand, oh, you're moving into a different experience, a different skill with its own style.
You guys still have your briefing on Alexa?
Yeah, I think that we
probably do.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Venice Real Estate.
Something like that. Yeah, we've neglected it for sure over the last.
Check it out. Let's see if I can find it just for some.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
We'll send you a link to it.
Yeah, I would think there's a lot of applications for a real estate agent, loan officer as well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think loan too, like really talking about a deal that you've done that you recently saved, you know, like, oh, there was this deal that was complicated, but good news, like stated income loans now are available. Like knowing that, that's super valuable because realtors will listen to it, but also homeowners will listen to that.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? And you know, this is what's the average cycle time before somebody's ready to buy or sell. Could be 3, 6 months, 12 months, depending on the person. Which brings me to my next question. So we want to be able to position ourselves as a thought leader and an expert, engage with them in a fun, unique way. Wow, that really stands out. Holy crap. This agent's on Alexa. Man, I'm sure they know how to sell a house, right? What other agents are on our Alexa? Right now, none, but that's going to change too. So how does then one, I love you guys to tell the story about how you were doing the door knocking to educate your farm on your new Alexa thing. And this is the bigger question is how do we then let our consumers, our target market know that we're on this flash briefing?
Yeah, this is the craziest thing is that there's people that are already using it and you don't know because nobody really talks about it. So there's people who are like already in that world, but it is for sure few. And the big component of what you're doing is not only creating the flash briefing, but letting people know about it.
Yeah.
And it's still, there's a little friction in getting it installed. So there's that too, but I think that it'll get really smooth moving forward, obviously. So things we were doing to let people know about it.
There's a combination of the natural progression that people will just become more and more familiar with voice technology and they will start to experience that you can enable these skills on Alexa and then you can, talk to those skills on any device. And then we did a lot of consumer education and we are doing a lot of consumer education. So that's a raffle that we have currently going on.
Like win a dot
so win an Echo Dot or an Echo.
That really gets people interested because we notice with a lot of our door knocking, people are like, oh, win a trip to Disneyland or win a trip to Cabo. And it's like, that's cool, but it kind of feels like 1980 sales. We wanted to do something that was a little bit more 2018 and, forward looking.
And also just realistic.
Yeah, but also if you're talking about a skill, like, hey, download the skill and win a trip to Disneyland, it doesn't even make any sense. It's like download the skill and you're going to get an Echo Dot. Well, it's like, okay, that totally makes sense.
I'm definitely doing that.
I'm going to have the dot to play the thing, So
yeah, so back to that story, you guys were handing out like postcards or whatever on that raffle of the Alexa Dot when you're door knocking, right?
Yeah.
Which to me is like totally unique and different. And it seemed to be the people you were able to meet face to face, the engagement was pretty good there.
Yeah, because it's a weird blend. You're doing literally one of the oldest, maybe frowned upon style marketing, like door-to-door vacuum salesman.
Yeah.
Plus, we're talking about a super high-tech thing. It's like voice is completely cutting edge. So we were doing both at the same time.
And it definitely changes the conversation with homeowners as well, because it's more, hey, we're here to give you information. If you want to talk to us, here's how you can do it on any Amazon Alexa enabled device. And we don't need to knock on your door 5 times this week to have a conversation with you.
Well, that's what I love about it. Because by the way, sometimes there's a lot, it makes sense to marry the old with the new as well. Because let's just face it, right? Fundamentals still have its place. And there are, as you know, agents out there who door knock and succeed at it. Now,
right.
Is it fun? And yeah, all that, you put yourself in a certain box. But I love the fact that you combine those two. Because it's like, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me, right? Tech savvy, like somebody knocked on my door. Hi, I'm a local real estate agent. I just want to let you know, hey, we're doing this raffle, got an Echo Dot. Plus, feel free to subscribe to our flash briefing. There's info on there. They're like, holy shit, a flash briefing. Whoa, never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It's really a great way to set yourself apart.
Say that again?
It's a real great way to like differentiate yourself in a world where a lot of people think realtors and mortgage brokers are a commodity.
Yeah. To
really, make yourself seem unique. That's the play.
That's part of the game. So I'm on Amazon right now, and there's a search in the search bar. You can search Alexa skills, and I just searched real estate flash, and there's like, I don't know, 8 or 10 that come up. Oh, I'm sorry. There's 186 results. Now, granted, most of these are brand new, have like very few ratings.
We'll search at the same time too.
Yeah. It's just kind of interesting. For those listening, you can try this exercise yourself. Try this at home.
Yeah.
Agent Marketer Flash. Oh, yeah, that's what's his face there.
Oh, yeah, we see that. Scroll down. We're looking also.
The big guy, Jason.
Yeah. God, there's so many, and they literally have no reviews. I mean, if you see this and you don't see that this is the ground floor, you're missing it.
Let me try mortgage, see what's in here.
If you do, you should search. If you do, we'll do a little plug, a shameless plug. If you search "sell my home,"
say it again.
Sell my home.
Sell my home.
Alexa skills, because we're starting to evolve it. Like maybe people are not going to know the name of your skill, right? So you need to have the SEO, like you were saying, voice is the new search, right?
Yep.
VaynerTech is saying that. So now you have to be aware of that. That maybe Amazon is going to be the new Google for searching voice.
Oh, I see. Here you guys are. Homie points. Find a realtor and sell my home. Nice.
Exactly. So this is the new version we just launched yesterday.
All right. Let's take a look at this thing here. It's free to enable, of course. One review. Is that your mom?
It's me. Uh-oh.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
My mom is next.
Exactly. And then I'm next, too.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm in here. And then, obviously, I can just hit enable.
Right.
And it asks me to log in because I wasn't technically logged in. Okay. Enable. Okay. Account linking. Yeah. And now it's just linking to my account, and that's going to be enabled for me.
Right.
Now I can.
And it may, for some people, your browser may be blocking the pop-up. I think Amazon's doing the pop-up there.
That's what it did. Yeah. So I just have to enable that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to just say always allow pop-ups and redirects from Amazon. Yes, because they are awesome.
Just give in.
Right. Because Bezos is going to beat you down.
It's futile.
Yeah. That's true, man. I was reading there's some article yesterday about how, Bezos plan to take over the world.
I think I'm very supportive. Let's do it.
He's not kidding, man.
I honestly, with how he's doing this voice thing, one day we went on, I think it was last week, or when we were talking, we went on the homepage of Amazon.
Yeah.
And normally it's like toothbrushes and diapers and like just dog food, like basic stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And it was just 9 different Alexa enabled devices. I'm like, wow, they are going for the gold. They're not messing around anymore. They don't care about toothbrushes and toilet paper and dog food. They're like really trying to get it in everyone's home.
Well, and some people argue that they're actually more powerful than Google.
I think that they are.
Yeah.
I think they will be for sure.
I'm trying to bring up the book of, I'll post it in the show notes if I find it, but somebody wrote like a tell-all book about Bezos and had, I guess, unprecedented access to him and all that kind of jazz.
And is it good or bad? What's the takeaway?
It's a mix. It's kind of the guise of it was, everybody's in love with Amazon and they're so great and everything, but don't overlook the fact that he has one intention in mind, and that is to sell as much stuff as he possibly can to you.
Yes. But in exchange, he's made it very easy.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Like that you can, especially in LA, right? I can just randomly want something and I can get it delivered to me in like 2 hours.
Right.
I mean, the guy is delivering. He's like keeping his end of the bargain by doing that, right? And deliveries on Sunday. These are not, like, talk about marketing. Like, this guy has come up with novel things that nobody has like really stepped up and taken care of. You should be able to get shit on Sunday. Come on. Right?
Even in Utah, damn it.
Yeah. Everywhere.
No, I agree. And he wouldn't be succeeding so well if he didn't do a great job. Okay, so here's the name of this book. It's called The Everything Store, Jeff Bezos and the Age of Amazon by Brad Stone. So for those of you listening, you want to get it. It's called The Everything Store. Business Book of the Year by somebody. I can't read it. It's blurred out, but it looks really worth buying for $12 or whatever.
We'll check it out.
Yeah. Any hoodle. All right. So where do we go from here? For those that are listening, they're curious, how do I get started? What would you say some next steps would be for them to start kicking the tires around on this?
I think just have fun and experiment and just jump into the skills ASAP. Mm-hmm. It's really the best way to like just jump on the tricycle, get a little, bruised knee and like figure it out and listen to it and then compare it to what other people are doing. and your mind will start to expand on like how you can improve it and make it more custom to you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's a big loss that people don't connect all of their marketing dots. So I go out and I door knock and I'm giving away a raffle to Cabo, but how does that help me 6 months later when you have questions about refinancing or selling your home? If I'm going door to door giving a raffle that also in exchange people are enabling a skill or a flash briefing where they're reminded of me daily or weekly or however often they use it, then I'm really making that for door knocking worthwhile long term and being top of mind to these homeowners and bringing real value to the table. So
just jump in, just start creating skills, make mistakes, right? Move quick, break things. Don't have analysis paralysis. Like, it doesn't have to be the best thing. It's going to suck. Just go and make really shitty, you know, flash briefings ASAP.
They can all be bird and wave sounds.
Yeah, they're gonna iterate. Like, you're gonna iterate when you may decide like, this is not for me, this is too much. But I think a lot of people, once they start to play with it, they're gonna get really excited and do it a lot, and they're going to get business from it.
Yeah, this has a lot of great implications. I mean, the first and obvious one is just simply that, look, as marketers, we're all trying to, first of all, get attention. And it's a crowded, noisy space, noisy world. I mean, look at everything that's come on Facebook and running ads and all that kind of jazz. And they all still have their place. But let's face it, it's harder to succeed on Facebook today. Social media is friggin' noisy. So if you've got this opportunity now to be first in on a platform like this, and who knows where this is going to go. Like you said, the prevalence of these devices are going to be everywhere. And in a moment's notice, you know, hey, give me the Orange County real estate flash briefing. Boom. You know, here's Jeff, ABC Realty. So the market for, you know, all this stuff. It's like, we're building the fence around our target market. And, you know, we're not going to get into a discussion about displacing real estate agents, but you need to, it's the value, I think, that you need to be able to offer and bring to the table. You know, and it's the professional services. It's not like, oh, I need you to help me find homes. I don't need that, right? I need you to help educate me and walk me through the process. And then when I'm ready to engage with you, yes, I want somebody who's built that relationship and trust up over time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's trust, right? If we really break it down, the reason why someone doesn't sign a listing agreement with you the first time they meet you is probably this trust factor. So if they hear you, if you're constantly bringing knowledge to the table, if you're in their ear on a weekly basis with updates, with market knowledge,
that they want,
building trust.
That they want. That's the big, don't send them. Like we were talking about sending postcards now with like, you know, we were just saying with the flash briefing, we would say the average price in Venice, right? 2.3 million. You know, I mean, that's even really not that valuable considering the fact that they can quickly go on Zillow and figure it out themselves. So like the consumer is not in the dark anymore about that type of data. Like you're saying, it's really walking them through the process because that part is still, there's a fog of war on how you get from A to Z in doing a transaction or, you know, selling a property or getting a loan.
And just becoming the obvious choice, you know?
Yeah, just staying top of mind, being obvious.
Ready to engage and make that choice. It's like, I've been listening to these flash briefings for friggin' 6 months. I want to tech savvy. Who the hell? The most tech savvy agent I know is the guy who's on my flash briefing every day.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's that. It's the other thing too, is it's very rare where a completely new arena opens up and we think voice is, it's just like, you know, it's just like, it's so obvious that voice is the play to us that's stressing us out that we're not moving fast enough. But it's like, when is there an opportunity where a completely new technology opens up and you're on the ground floor of it and you can really take advantage of it? And whether or not agents are going to get displaced, there's definitely going to be significantly less in the near term.
Yeah.
So people that do this stuff will be ensuring, and like you're saying, they're making a fence around their market.
Right. Well, I just want to give you guys a quick shout out. Then we'll tell people how to reach you for more info. But I didn't see this before, but you got a nice shout out from Inman.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, man. So what they said, that's on your website, homiepoints.com or net.
Your choice.
We have both, so whatever you're doing.
Either you'll get to the same place. Anyway, so what Inman said was, after seeing their best sales come to life from real life connections rather than automated leads, Homie Points, you guys, got the idea to link homeowners with a real human agent through Amazon Alexa voice technology. And then, of course, Mr. Keller says there's a race towards technology. Those who embrace it will win. Those who don't are going to suck win. It's pretty much what.
Yeah, he just said that last week.
Yeah, that's actually how Gary talks.
Yeah, I dig him, man. The first time I saw him, I'm like, this guy, when I saw him in person speak, I think it was like 6 years ago. it's rare to see these types of people. Oh yeah, he's brilliant, so.
A lot of hellos don't like him because of the whole mortgage play there with KW, but
yeah.
Sorry. For my LO peeps listening. All right. So, for those who want to dig into more and maybe investigate getting their own, flash briefing set up, I imagine you guys can help them do that.
Yeah. So we are creating a custom page for them to come and figure it out. Right. We're going to work on that.
Give us that URL, man.
Okay. So it's going to be homiepoints.com/mortgage-marketing-radio.
Okay. And I will put a link to that in the show notes as well.
Sweet. Okay, cool. And that'll be a place where we'll just start like kind of generally showing them how to get started. Again, don't be afraid to experiment. Really have to push through that experimental phase to figure out where you're really, what briefing is for you.
Yeah.
And then we'll show some more technical stuff that we're excited about.
Awesome. And of course, we're available for additional questions. Anybody can always email me, podcast@Mortgage Marketing Radio. But hey guys, I want to thank you so much for making time to, I know you're busy in like full startup mode. So it must be.
Thank you so much. It's been fun.
When do you sleep? I don't know. Lots of caffeine. So thanks for watching. And once again, all the links will be in the show notes to check this out. And you guys get on there, make this happen, start digging in, and be one of the first, be a pioneer, because this is a situation where maybe you'll take a couple arrows in the back, but you're going to win, right? Being a pioneer in this situation.
It definitely feels like it's a gold rush right now. So
straight up.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Cool. Well, listen, guys, thanks for being here. And listeners, thanks for watching or tuning in. As always, we appreciate you. And if you like this episode, please let us know. Share some love out on the interwebs, on the podcast. Give us a rating, whatnot. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.
Thanks for having us.